Hello, my name is Rosen. I'm a challenger Ahri OTP, and today I'm going to walk you through on the Fizz matchup. Let's go. Alright, so I want to cover the build briefly. I won't go too in depth, so I'll try to get another video out for that one. For Ahri, there's not one definite build. You go every game, you have to build according to teammates and enemy team. For your first item, you want to decide between Malignance or Blackfire. So how do you decide? Build Malignance when you don't have good setup. This means you don't have a lot of engage and you have to engage with your ult. It's also good into matchups where you're forced to ult in, for example Syndra, Victor, Orianna. But in summary, you should build it when you don't have enough engage or reliable setup to land charms. Now, Blackfire, one of the strongest scaling items for a mage. I would suggest building this when you have good setup to get those multi-Qs in and when they have a lot of melees. Also, Blackfire helps you with getting resets because of the burn. Now, onto your second item. The main two options are either Cosmic or Lich Bane. There are other situations where you can build a different item, but I won't cover that in this video. So for Cosmic, I see as a defensive option where you need the HP and the ability to kill easier with the movement speed, where you want to be a bit tankier so you don't get one shot, and where you don't have enough setup. And as for Lich Bane, the other option, it's a strong item and helps you deal a lot more damage. I would build it when I'm ahead, where there's not much threat on the enemy team and I have good setup to reliably deal a lot of damage. It's also good for silencing because it provides you attack speed once using ability, and it's good for taking towers down. So for your boots, most of the games you're going to be building Ionian boots. It is very gold efficient. It gives you a lot of haste, and you need haste because Ahri is a very ult reliant champion. Without your ult you can't really do much. There are other situations where you could build other boots, but I won't really cover that in this video. As for your third item or fourth item, you have a bunch of options. Build Rabadons when you're really ahead. Build Void Staff when enemy team is buying a lot of magic resist. Build Banshee if enemy team has a lot of AP and maybe you need a spell shield to block certain spells. Build Zonia if enemy has assassins that can one-shot you. Then from here you kind of just build according to the game and what you think is best for you to deal with the enemy team, which I'm not gonna go very in depth to. Alright, let's go over the rune page for this specific matchup into Fizz. In this matchup you want to take Electrocute with the Bomb Plating rune page, Resolve page. Electrocute for the short trades, and Bomb Plating will help you a lot in this lane. It's very important you take Bomb Plating, in my opinion. So versus Fizz, you want to take W and build a slow push. Here you can see I'm autoing a minion twice and another minion once, so they are different HP. Then from here I'll just last hit. In this lane, you want to use your W after his E, because Fizz will try to use his E to dodge your W damage. So just wait for his E, then you can use the W to try to get out of his E. But even if you get hit by his E, you'll win the trade because you have Bomb Plating. So this specific Fizz isn't really using his E at all. I know he's waiting for me to burn W so he can jump on me, but I'm being patient. And once I hit level 2, I can trade from far using my Q and he goes for last hits, trying to burn his E so I can pressure him even more. He keeps saving his E towards the end, so I just go for a quick trade because the wave is almost gone. Here I think he got upset because the lane wasn't going the way he wanted to, so he just E'd in. But I hit level 3, took my charm, and then I out traded him, waiting patiently with my charm for once he is finished, and yeah. But yeah, the Bomb Plating helped a lot with taking less damage, so from here I'll continue to use my Q from far to try force him to use the E, then pressure him while saving my W, and then when I have Bomb Plating up, I'll play even more aggressive because I can tank his spells. I could have played this lane better to be honest, but if I landed my charm here, he would just die, but I've just failed mechanically. But I saw he didn't have his E, so I just went in, ignited and landed my W for a nice kill. So there was a real fight where I managed to secure 2 kills plus a red buff, and the wave is really bad for Fizz, as I can look to freeze it here and pressure him further. He wastes his E here, so now that I see that, I immediately go to trade using my W to gap close and slow him with autos. And from here I'll continue to last it and keep the freeze. Then when I get my ult, he was already so far up in the lane without flash, so I looked for an all-in, burned his E and secured the kill using the red buff slow. Alright, so let's go over some tips and a short recap summary. You want to save your W for after his E so he doesn't dodge your damage. Keep altering him level 1 when he goes for last hits, but don't use your W. Sometimes the Fizz players will get mad and burn the E on you, so then you can run back a bit, and when he does his second flip, the second part of his E, you can use your W to try get out of its range and auto him. But even if you get hit, it's fine because you have bone plating, you will outtrade him. The next tips are to play around your bone plating. Once your bone plating is gone, you need to play a lot safer because the Fizz can just Q you whenever he wants or E into you and you'll take a lot of damage. So don't play too aggressive when your bone plating is down. Instead look for Qs from far when he's trying to last hit while saving your W in the chance that he burns his E so you can play more aggressive or feel more safer. The next tip is to remain patient with charms. By this I mean don't get scared if he's ease you randomly, always save it for when his E ends and take your time. The other time you can kind of land charm on him is when he Qs you and you can like charm and cancel it and he'll lose a lot of HP and you won't lose anything. You'll look super cool doing it too. It's kind of hard to pull off, but if you can track what the Fizz is trying to do, if he looks like he's about to Q you or something, then you can kind of get it off, but it isn't the easiest to do. On to the next tip, punishing his E. Once the Fizz has used his E, you really want to pressure him, you really want to get into his face, try zone him from XP, from gold, as much as you can, obviously while staying safe as well, because you need to factor in your HP, ganks, etc. You can also look for all-ins for solo kills, when you're level 6 and he's used his E and he's low enough, you can look for an all-in. The point is, when Fizz E is down, he's very, very vulnerable and you want to abuse that. You can do this through the methods I teach to you during the laning phase, but yeah, you really want to pressure that cooldown. I have some other resources that you can use. For example, I did a guide 1 year ago in the same matchup, but I think it's a bit outdated, but you can still check it out. It could help you if you need further help in the matchup. I also have a link to an Excel guide with all the matchups versus champions and the guides and everything. It isn't finished yet, it's a work in progress. If you're interested, you can check it out. I have done the Fizz matchup, I'm pretty sure, if I can remember. But yeah, anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the guide. If you have any questions, just comment below, I'll reply when I can. Thank you.